So Keir Starmer is backing plans for Britain to pay countries such as Vietnam and Iraq, yes, you heard me right, ladies and gentlemen, to help reduce the number of illegal migrants who set off each year to the United Kingdom. The PM said it was the right thing for us, you and me, to dissuade people leaving their home countries in the first place rather than allow them to take the perilous journey across the Channel on the boats. His comments came as Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, was looking to emulate Italy's model of paying millions of pounds to countries in return for them doing more to stopping the small boat crossings. I mean, there is an answer here. Stop the bloody boats ourselves or stop making it so attractive to come. We're now going to give money to Iraq. I'm going home, Benedict Spence. I'm turning the lights off. It's finished. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this has all come because Italy has struck deals with Tunisia and Libya, by which it'll give rather a large amount of money to the authorities there, such as they are, to stop crossings. And to be fair, it is working to a point. They've managed to reduce them by crossings by about 60%. But the key thing there is Italy is also equipping the coast guards of Tunisia and Libya. But it also, of course, comes with a great big asterisk. And that is, as various human rights organizations point out, that the authorities in Tunisia and Libya do not necessarily come to terms with international law when it comes to these things. So it's all very well police, asking those people to please police your own territorial waters and we will give you the money and the ships and the training. But actually, we don't share a naval border with a country like that. Our closest issue there is France. That's actually the main issue, and I can't see that giving money to
We're giving the French 500 million quid.
Well, exactly. And, I'm not sure exactly what giving money to Iraq or Vietnam or the autonomous Kurdistan region, that's part of what they want to do. I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
Why don't we just police our own borders and deal with it ourselves and show strength? Strength.
That's always the problem, though, is
why?
That Keir Starmer doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to be seen to be risking breaking international law or to be seen to be being harsh, basically.
But this is where I get really angry, right? Harsh, right? So there was a video doing the rounds after Trump won. It was 2 or 3 days afterwards, and then from the moment I take office, elite bands of Marines or whatever they were are going to run amok around wherever, and they're going to arrest, detain and deport every single illegal migrant who should not be in our country. And they will know that if they come back, it is an automatic 10-year imprisonment with no chance of parole. Now, I can listen to people tell me that Donald Trump is mad and he's this and he's that and all those sorts of things, but I want to ask you something. What's wrong with being that strong, sticking 2 fingers up to human rights lawyers and laws and saying we need to do what's right by our country?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with being strong when it comes to your own security or your own borders. The problem is that we are not run by people like Donald Trump or by people like Giorgia Meloni in Italy. We are run by lawyers, and I wouldn't even say lawyers, actually, because lawyers sort of suggest that all lawyers are, by designation, useless. We are ruled by proceduralists, people who can't really think outside the box. They have a set of rules. That is all that they know how to operate with. And as long as the rules are followed, everything is fine. That is how we've managed to find ourselves in a position where we're giving away, things like the Chagos Islands to Mauritius because an international court said you should, and that's what the rules say, so you have to follow the rules. Wow. Actually, most of the rest of the world does not operate this way. They make up their own rules as they go along. They respect strength, they respect money, they respect influence. And I know that a lot of people will say, well, that sounds a little bit, sort of oligarchical. Yes, much of the world is. But then, the spoiler alert is, much of Europe is a bit like this. European countries regularly, contravene the ECHR and other human rights pieces of legislation, and they apologise after the fact.
I will absolutely categorically tell you that I believe, however bad this might sound, and I said it about policing, I believe there will come a point, whether it's a year or 5 years or 10 years, where a lot of what I call real, normal, average, everyday, hard-working, law-abiding citizens, I'm not talking about rising up, will just say, enough is enough. I don't care what... This country is crying out for a conviction politician who's got the gonads to do something correct. Male or female, actually, because Thatcher had bigger gonads than any male politician I've known in my lifetime. Also, very quickly, I've loads to talk to you about, so very quickly, interesting... Trump 2 months away from inauguration. Biden overnight authorising Ukraine to use long-range missiles inside Russia. Is this all an attempt to get things moving quickly before Trump takes over, or what? Is he stirring the pot? Because I've never seen him look so sprightly since she lost the election. He looks as happy as anything.
I think it's stirring the pot. I think that he could have done this 2.5 years ago. He should have done this 2.5 years ago if he wanted Ukraine to be able to push the Russians out of Ukrainian territory. He's done it now because he wants to make things more difficult for Donald Trump to sort of ride roughshod over the Ukrainians and try and enforce a deal on them. He's giving them this ability so that the Ukrainians can perhaps turn around to Donald Trump and say, no, we're going to keep on doing this. We've already got the missiles. And that'll actually make the Russians less likely to want to come to the table, because they'll turn around justifiably and say, well, the Ukrainians have got these weapons now. We've got to stop them using these weapons. So I think he's done this purely to be difficult, purely to try and secure a legacy of his own on the international stage and to make Donald Trump's job harder. Ultimately, Donald Trump has made it very clear he wants to bring this war to a close as quickly as possible. That almost certainly means forcing Ukraine to take some concessions. Giving the Ukrainians these weapons makes it harder for the US to be able to inflict those concessions on them, because it gives them more firepower in the short term. That's what this is about.
You see, the legend that is Benedict Spence making everything seem simple to me. Now, 3 quick stories. One I'm really passionate about. I know that you will probably share it. Farmers prepare for a protest. I never, ever sit on this show and say anybody should protest against certain things, but I have real sympathy for the farmers after the budget. Don't you, my friend?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and what's really irritating me is the way that people are sort of responding as if they are stupid, saying, oh, but they should be taxed like anybody else. I'm sorry, a family farm is not a business like anything else. It is fundamental. Forget civilization. The Agrarian Revolution is what actually prompted humanity to move from the cave outwards and
absolutely.
This is a really fundamental thing. And people who think that this is a good thing or that farmers are unjustifiably wealthy, you're mad. You're absolutely mad. You have no concept of how farming works, how little money these people have from day to day, and actually how little money there is now in farming. You want there to be a crisis? You want to see the results of sort of vulture capitalism, all that sort of thing? Force those farmers to sell their farms to those who have the money. That means hedge funds, that means investment corporations, and that means a cut in quality, and that'll mean the destruction of farming in this country as we know it. We don't want it. But, yeah, by all means, as long as it hurts the rich, am I right?
Mate, I'm completely with you, and I would never sit on this and talk to anybody, but I absolutely hope the farmers go as far as they have to. I think it's an absolute disgrace. Finally, as you flick back your hair for the nth time, when you're not having your moustache cut, you're not having your hair cut either.
No, my barber's not in the country until next month.
But he's so posh. My barber's not in the country.
Not even joking.
Where is the barber? Is he on the estate in the Azores or something?
He's in Ireland. He's on the estate in Ireland, but it's only Ireland.
Oh, lovely, he's in Ireland. Finally, Benedict Spence, legendary Conservative commentator, a man with a great moustache for Movember. Fury, oh, geez, as Woke University gives Sherlock Holmes' book a trigger warning because it dares to go near violence and murder. Over to you, Benedict Spence, as we slide towards the nanny soft state that Labour want us to live in.
Increasingly, I care less about these sorts of stories, because what with the
Well, I wish you'd told me before I brought it up.
No, because they're going to get their comeuppance. As far as we move towards the further commercialization of universities and we look to increase tuition fees, a lot of those sorts of universities are just going to end up going bust. Actually, that's the reality of the situation. We have 3 of the top 5 universities in the world in the UK: Imperial, Oxford, Cambridge. That's staggering. And when you look at actually how we fit in the top 20, we also do very well. But below the Russell Group, and even some of the Russell Group universities do not quite make the cut, there is a lot of dross that is really drowning in debt at the moment, and I just have a feeling that sooner or later, probably within the next couple of decades, a lot of those places are going to get bust, and they're going to get their just desserts because they're peddling nonsense to people.
So what would you... Where did the University of Surrey, where I achieved my very impressive 2-1, where did that rank?
I wasn't aware that it existed.
Way! Good man. Did you go to university, Spence?
Yes, I did.
Where?
I went to Liverpool because they offered me 3 beers and I fancied a good time.
Good man, you man of the people. Benedict Spence, thank you so much indeed. Always good to have you on. 4:20. No, it isn't. It's 4:35. We're live across the UK.